It's a kind of checkup. The addresses that were given by the shell companies of Purti investors, the IT that had issued notices to Gadkari that explain where from these funds have come and which are the shell companies and where from companies have got funds. So the addresses given by the shell companies are being cross-checked, and during these searches, IT company will ascertain whether these funds have come through a legitimate channel of funding or they are illegitimate, or some explanations are needed in those funding processes or not. So these raids are being conducted in continuation with the notice, some notice that has been issued to Mr. Gadkari, revised notice that was served on 11th of January, and Gadkari has sought time to appear before the Income Tax Department till February 1st, because he has submitted that he is travelling outside and he is busy in some major political assignments, like the one he is facing tomorrow, that is re-election to the post of the president of BJP. So during the searches, IT department will ascertain whether these addresses are genuine, whether these companies are genuine, whether the fundings that these companies have got from various sources are genuine, and whether or not Gadkari has channelized the funding through shell companies or not. So this is a very crucial kind of search that will be conducted today at 8 to 9 destinations in Mumbai. And after these searches, the Income Tax Department will question Mr. Gadkari when he appears before the Income Tax Department, maybe on 1st of February.
Right, and of course the bigger question, Ganesh, is going to be how is this going to affect Gadkari's political career, because RSS has always been firmly backing up Nitin Gadkari to have for a second tenure as the party president. But how is this going to really affect Gadkari's political career? That is something that is going to be we have to really wait and watch, isn't it?
Absolutely. This is a very crucial question that you have raised. See, Nitin Gadkari is buying time for two reasons. One, he wants to get his re-election confirmed and the process completed before he appears before the Income Tax Department. Because then he can delay the process by giving some excuses now and then. And once he gets back into the seat of BJP president for 3 years, then the process will go on. So he is buying time only to ensure that he is re-elected first and then he faces the inquiry. Because if he faces the inquiry before getting re-elected, chances are BJP will be embarrassed to a situation that it may not re-elect him. But that is not likely to happen, it seems, because he is getting re-elected tomorrow and he has already got time till February 1st. And even if these searches are completed today, the Income Tax Department will have to submit its official and detailed report to the Corporate Affairs Ministry in the center. And that process might take time. So politically, right now, Gadkari is ensuring that he gets re-elected first and then faces the inquiry. So he is playing politically safe.
Right, and Ganesh, have you been able to get any reactions from the BJP? Because of course there have been a lot of speculations on so-called the infighting within the BJP as far as the post of party president is concerned. There were reports that Mr. L.K. Advani was in fact pushing for Sushma Swaraj's case to be the party president, and RSS again firmly backing up Nitin Gadkari. So any reactions or what are your sources telling you? What is the point now the BJP is going to pick?
See, RSS has said it very clearly to the BJP that they want Gadkari back in the seat. And therefore, what they have ensured is that constitutionally, if anybody has to contest election tomorrow against Gadkari, he will have to get recommendation from as many as 5 state councils of BJP. It's a constitution of BJP which makes it mandatory. So even if there is a dissidence and a person like the advocate Mahesh Jethmalani wants to contest election, he will not be able to, because unless RSS and top BJP leaders ask their 5 state councils to recommend some other name, there won't be a candidate against Gadkari. So RSS is firmly backing Gadkari, And therefore, senior BJP leaders whom we are talking to are very, very confident and sure that Gadkari's election is just a matter of time. So tomorrow, after filing of nominations, there will be only one nomination to the best of today's positions analysis.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ganesh, for all those updates. So searches are continuing on the Purti group. Of course, there are allegations of tax evasion on the Purti group, of course, and Nitin Gadkari's name has also been put into as an alleged to be. He's also alleged to be in that particular allegations. Of course, this is one story that we'll keep tracking, but let's go back to the big story that we are tracking throughout the day. That is Chautala's being sent to 10 years in jail. For all that, let's go to my colleague Afrida.
Thank you, Aishwarya. In fact, like Aishwarya just pointed out, the sentencing has been pronounced and the quantum of punishment has been announced as 10 years. It's indeed a big blow to one of the most powerful political dynasty in Haryana. Former Haryana Chief Minister Om Prakash Chautala and his son have been sentenced to 10 years in prison in the JBT teacher scam. Ahead of the sentencing as well as after the sentence, his supporters literally went on a rampage, throwing crude bombs and stones, leading to police lathi charging and tear gassing the mob. Apart from the Chautalas, the other three main accused were also awarded 10 years in jail in this case. Rest of the 49 accused received jail terms between 3 to 5 years.
पहले तो मैं कोर्ट के इस फैसले का स्वागत करूंगा। इससे न्यायपालिका के ऊपर लोगों का विश्वास बढ़ा है और इसका इम्पैक्ट पूरे देश की राजनीति पर पड़ेगा कि इतने बड़े राजनीतिक घराने को अगर सजा 10-10 साल की हो सकती है तो एक छोटा नेता या एक अफसर भ्रष्टाचार करने से पहले बहुत बार सोचेगा। तो मैं समझता हूं शायद चौटाला साहब पहले ऐसे नेता हैं जो करप्शन के केस के अंदर सजा हुई हो।
It's I think one of the first few cases where a former chief minister has been given such a heavy punishment in a corruption case. Be a lesson to the politicians and to bureaucrats, and they must learn to work within the framework of law and maintain probity while discharging their public duties.
People in here are chaotic situation. People in here are just trying to, post and find a way to go inside the court. You can see the situation here for yourself. Totally unmanaged. These crowds are going wild as we speak. We don't know yet what action police can take. Police can take action anytime. They are completely armed with their tear gas shells and lathi charges. But till now, no action has been taken, but we can't see what happens. In a few moments from now.
All right, to talk more about this entire issue, I have in the studio Sunita Godara, who was a member of the Indian member of Team Anna, and she was also an Asian marathon champion earlier. Welcome to NewsX, Sunita. I would like to begin by asking you, I mean, this is a watershed moment in Haryana politics, isn't it? I mean, look at what has happened today. One of the leading newspapers has called it rise, fall, rise and downfall of the Chautalas. Your thoughts on that?
See, whatever has happened now, 10 years jail, that is perfectly all right. But now they will appeal in High Court and Supreme Court. And the cases will take 10 years because there are no fast-track courts. So these VVIPs, any defaulter, no matter whether these two or any other, all VVIPs, defaulters, should go into fast-track courts so that the decisions are taken in a better manner and they are not prolonged. Otherwise, this case will take, and all rich and powerful, influential people never go to jail. They always get bail. So this is going to happen in this case also. So fast-track courts are the answer for these VVIP defaulters.
Right. So what you're saying essentially is that it is, in a sense, a vindication of the anti-corruption movement in this country. All this while, there was this public perception that the high and the mighty, the tall politicians in this country are almost beyond the reaches of law. But here we have a conviction. Do you think in that sense it's also a very significant moment?
See, this is very significant because now 24/7 media is there. So now things have started. The corrupt VVIPs, especially the big fishes, they are scared. And what has happened in this case, they are the small fries because there are two types of looters. One, those who are looting the individuals, and the other one who are making big deals and making big money out of corruption. So fast track courts are the answer for these type of cases.
Right. This is only one of the several scams that we have seen, Sunita.
Yeah,
let's not forget.
There are many big.
Yes.
In Hindi we say Chindi Chor and Maha Chor. So these are all small fries, and there are big fries.
Right, and the charges against him are not just this one particular JBT case, the disproportionate assets case against the Chautalas as well, and we have the Mayavatis of this world, we have so many
all
other
the rulers
of this world, right, including the present Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, the Yadavs also implicated in disproportionate assets case. But in this particular case, the JBT is the scam in question, for which this kind of a conviction has happened. But do you think the larger issues, the larger corruption cases still remain without reaching its logical conclusion?
I do agree with you, because this is only one case. There are so many, bigger the scheme, bigger the scam going on, and the rulers, they are busy looting public and the public money, plus the public assets for their personal gains.
Right.
So these cases, whether they are political allegations or they are real allegations, they have to go into fast track courts. Otherwise these things will happen, and then they will appeal in High Court, Supreme Court, they will get bail, they will never go jail. So this is not the solution. Solution is fast court.
But today we should at least celebrate this moment. The political legacy of somebody like the Chautalas have literally come to an end, because, you know, we know that there is this rule that they cannot now contest elections, which itself is such a huge thing. Wouldn't you think that at least that part we need to acknowledge and say, well, in some sense, at least in this country, we do get justice?
See, only in one case, but in these dynasty leaders, there is no justice and equity. All the Baba logs, they get everything on the platter, and they are not real heroes and real public leaders. So they have to perform what country needs out of them. We want good governance, we want good implementation of laws, and they are the people who are making laws, they are the people who are making doing the implementation. And when their corruption is the main thing for them, looting is the main thing. So whenever these people are caught, naturally public will be happy, but not only for one case. It has to be done for all VIP cases.
Right. Let's consider this as a good beginning. Then, Sunita, stay with us. Our correspondent Vishal Monga, in fact, spoke to Randeep Surjewala, Parliamentary Affairs Minister in the Haryana Cabinet. Let's listen in.
We have Randeep Surjewala with us. Sir, first of all, the reaction. What is the Congress reaction?
I think Congress reaction is that of an ordinary Indian, and that is that the law has taken its own course. Judiciary, faith in judiciary stands re-strengthened, and it also proves for the entire political and administrative class that however high you may be, the law is above you. If you trample upon your constitutional oath, if you indulge in corruption and nepotism, if you make government employment a political akhada, then you would be punished. That is what has happened.
Sir, quantum is 10 years. Now, it was said that after 3 years, if the quantum is more than 3 years, they will not be able to fight. Do you think it will really benefit the Congress now?
Congress does not look at this verdict from the point of benefit or otherwise. To me, as an Indian and as a congressman, the verdict is very simple. It proves that those in public offices need to be very, very careful in their actions. They need to persistently and perpetually think about the last man in the line, and all their policies and actions should be directed towards him. The moment we digress, then sooner or later the law will catch up with you, which has happened to Shri Om Prakash Chautala.
So what about the violence that took place outside Rohini Court? Do you think that this could be repeated here in Haryana also?
I am very sad as an Indian and as a young person with the violence that took place in Rohini. courts are not political akhadas. You cannot bring thousands of workers there and browbeat the judge or the judiciary or subvert the entire judicial process. The way we were watching images on TV, the kind of rampant hooliganism, gundaism, slogan shouting, it's unheard of. It proves that INLD does not have faith in judiciary and the constitution, exactly what they have been punished for.
Do you think this is end of Chautala?